Tonight at 5, open for business.
Colorado has really knocked one out of the park on this one.
Colorado is celebrating as Major League Baseball's All-Star Game moves to Coors Field.
But this is more than a game. It means millions for Denver's economy.
By some estimates, this event will mean more than $100 million impact.
And it opens debate about where to draw the line between sports and politics.
I think it's important to remember the context here.
First at 5, a weather action day. We went from sunshine to storm clouds over the course of just a couple of hours.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson's tracking this one for us. So what can we expect tonight, Mike?
All kinds of stuff. Kitchen sink weather, really. We're going to throw it all in there. This was what it looked like at lunchtime at City Park, and watch throughout the afternoon. All of a sudden, the clouds darken up and the rain is coming in, and it's snowing above about 7,000 feet right now in the foothills. High temperature today was 58, while it was 82 down at La Junta. But at the top of the hour, that temperature has dropped to 41 degrees in the Denver area as a cold front has roared through the Front Range, bringing the strong gusty winds, the rain, and the snow off to the west of us. And along with that, we've had a good half a dozen rumbles of thunder around the metro area just in the last 45 minutes. See that precipitation quite heavy, and it's going to gradually switch over to big fat flakes of snow. So you get it all tonight. Rain, snow, and thunder expected. Wet roads, low visibility, may pick up an inch or two on grassy surfaces, especially elevations above 6,000 feet. And then windy and colder weather into early Wednesday morning.
Thank you, Mike. Live the forecast there. Well, baseball's All-Star Game is a party, and Colorado's leaders are betting we're going to need one to celebrate once mid-July hits and most of us are vaccinated.
This is what things looked like the last time there was an All-Star Game, Cleveland 2019. The city hosted parades, fan festivals, and other family-friendly events. People packed the streets in a way we have not seen since the pandemic began.
Tonight, we're bringing you multiple perspectives on what baseball's big decision means for people living in Colorado. Denver7's PATTRIK leads off our team coverage tonight. Patrick?
Hey Shannon, this game is going to bring some much needed business for places like restaurants and hotels. And based on what Governor Polis said this morning, it sounds like the game is also going to be the unofficial end of the pandemic, at least here in Colorado. It may have taken more than 2 decades, but it took only a few days to make happen.
We are absolutely honored and thrilled that Major League Baseball has selected Denver and the Colorado Rockies as the new home for the summer's All-Star Game.
Coors Field will be front and center once more for the big game on July 13th, a feat Denver Mayor Michael Hancock thought would take a few more years.
We were looking at 2024 as a target year, but when Major League Baseball reached out last week, we couldn't say no.
The group was in need of a new city and stadium after pulling out of Atlanta over changes to Georgia's voting laws. The All-Star Game is expected to attract nearly $200 million to the state's economy.
It's really a pivotal turning point, not just for our return to normalcy, but the opportunity to move forward to highlight Denver and Colorado nationally.
Governor Jared Polis highlighted that return to normalcy as more and more Coloradans get vaccinated. He says masks, social distancing, that won't be necessary by game day.
This game is in July, so none of that will be a concern by then. But what we really care about is the next few weeks, the next month.
Mayor Hancock says getting rid of these restrictions by July falls in line with what city and county leaders have predicted.
This is right on time and on schedule with what we expected anyway with regards to our capacity building and vaccination schedule.
Expect to see a sold-out stadium, perhaps one of the biggest signs of our return to normal. And like Governor Polis said there, we need to keep wearing our masks, practicing social distancing at least for the next few weeks, maybe the next month or so, to make sure that this game that's planned here at Coors Field goes on as it's supposed to. We're live in Denver. I'm Patrick Perez, Denver7.
Yeah, lots of smiles under those masks, right, Patrick? All right. Talk to you later. Thank you. And you heard a few different estimates of how much money the game will bring. Well, one economist we spoke to said those claims might be inflated.
As a typical rule of thumb, economists like me say, take whatever the city tells you, move the decimal point one place to the left, and that's actually a pretty good estimate of what Denver can usually expect.
That's Victor Matheson, published analysis of All-Star Games from 1973 to 1999, and says there was no economic bump from hosting the All-Star Game, none. He pointed to 3 factors. One is crowding out. Basically, all the people going to the All-Star Game make other people reconsider their plans, canceling out the economic benefit. The second is what he calls leakage. That's money that is spent on the All-Star game but doesn't end up in Colorado.
So, for example, if you have people staying at the Hyatt or the Radisson, they may be spending a lot of money here, but that money isn't sticking in Denver. It's going back to corporate headquarters in New York City.
Matheson says the final factor is the substitution effect. He says it says that the spending on the All-Star game is a substitute for typical weekend spending, and that most Coloradans who are spending money on tickets or other events probably would have kept their money in Colorado anyway.
Now, the rules are a little different in 2021. The number of hotel stays in Metro Denver down almost 30% from last year. Every expert we spoke to today said this extra business will really help. And the real impact may not be on All-Star Weekend. It's a boost to Colorado's reputation, being chosen as a replacement when, well, Georgia didn't work out.
These premier sporting events, whether it be a Super Bowl or an All-Star game, attract some of the most influential decision makers from the business world, the media world, the sports world. And it's a way for new relationships to be forged between developers and different types of decision makers that will end up investing money in projects.
And some Rockies fans are feeling sentimental about the big move, since it means DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, and Trevor Story will all get to share the spotlight at Coors Field one more time.
Denver7's Nick Rothschild continues our team coverage with the player perspective on this. Nick?
Yeah, Shannon and Ann, that actually sounds like a lot of fun, all those guys being back on the field together. But one thing to note here, the optics of this whole situation kind of make it feel like the Monforts are getting rewarded for running the Rockies like a business rather than a baseball team. No? I mean, I know it's not technically cause and effect because the Rockies were already in the bidding process for an All-Star game coming to Coors Field, but it just feels weird. All right, that's all I'm going to say about it. We're moving on because hosting the All-Star game is a legitimately cool thing for both Coors Field and the city of Denver. It's been 23 years since the All-Star game was here. The Titanic was winning all the Oscars. Larry Walker was repping the Rockies. The kid with his hat backwards. The 90s were wild, man. And the current Rockies players are pretty into this year, too. Charlie Blackmon believes that while the added attention and revenue will be great for Colorado, we do got to be careful not to give away too much. Well, if we had heard Charlie, he basically was saying that let's go ahead and enjoy all the things that Colorado has to offer, but maybe keep some of the special stuff to ourselves because we don't want to show off too much and attract too many more out-of-towners, am I right? Speaking of showing off, everyone's interested in the upcoming potentially legend, wait for it, Dairy Home Run Derby that's coming to Coors Field. While Charlie said he's not going to participate in it, he would love to watch his teammate Trevor Story hit some moonballs, and I would have to say I agree. Reporting live from a windy, rainy, chilly Coors Field, I'm Nick Rothschild for Denver7 Sports.
All right, going to be fun. Thank you, Nick. And part of the reason for the excitement is the rapid rate of vaccination statewide. So at some point this week, Colorado is going to hit 3 million doses given. 1.1 million people are now fully vaccinated, and that's nearly 20% of our state. Well, Colorado made every person over the age of 16 eligible for the shot last Friday. President Biden announced today that that same group will be eligible by April 19th. That's 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Some numbers are trending in the wrong direction. Deaths are now rising in at least 18 states and hospitalizations up in at least 16.
This progress we've worked so hard to achieve can be reversed. Now's not the time to let down. Now's not the time to celebrate.
This afternoon, state leaders announced they found the state's first case of the P1 variant in Boulder County. This is believed that the current vaccines are effective against that variant, but no research has been done.
And breaking this afternoon, the Denver Public School Board is launching an investigation into Director Tay Anderson. The announcement follows accusations of sexual assault, which were published anonymously against Anderson by the group Black Lives Matter 5280. In a statement, the school board said it looks forward to an independent review of the facts. Director Anderson has been informed about this investigation and says he supports a fair and thorough process.
Next at 5, price hike.
We had a suspicion that prices were going to go up, but I don't think we realized how bad it was going to be.
Why everything from groceries to gas is getting more expensive.
Plus the political game. We explain the economic impact of baseball's decision to move the All-Star game to Colorado. Up next, we will show you the political impact and how our laws stack up to Georgia's.
Colorado has got the gold standard across the entire country for election law.